Greetings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of That Gameplays Live. We've got a lot going on today. We have you here to thank, and we have Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, and a few other folks rolling in the door already. So thank you for being here. We are very excited. There is a lot to talk about today, and I couldn't do it by myself. I can only do it with others. We have a lot of people that make this place go. And I have, the first one showing up today in the form of Loki. Good day, Loki. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, Culture. I'm doing good. Keeping warm on this nice December through some video game trash fires we've been talking about lately.
And boy, do we have more to talk about today. I'm still stunned at the number of stories we have to get through and not enough time to do so. So we are going to get started here in just a moment. But I have to tell you, the thing that hit me like a ton of bricks just today, or maybe a little bit of yesterday, was the stuff that's going on with Borderlands and Gearbox Software. I did not see this coming. We've got stuff to talk about there. We've got some Dungeons and Dragons to talk about. That was weird. That just broke today. Didn't know that was going to show up. Plus, of course, we've got some Alyssa Mercante stuff with SmashJT. We've got some rumors about BioWare. We've got some strange Naughty Dog stuff with this intergalactic heretic prophet thing that's kind of wild. I mean, it's just bananas. Plus, we got to do a little bit of a what do you call it? Retconning of the Game Awards, maybe. We'll get to what we can get to. But for the 73 of you out there, thanks for waiting for us, and let's talk a little bit about those of you here that are familiar with the leaderboard. That's right, top supporters of this show specifically. From last week, of course, the Platinum Trophy winner, the month-long trophy, is currently T. Neal. We've got, obviously, the open spots of gold, silver, and bronze for this stream, and we just want to say thanks for your incredible support, and there's that. So let's jump on this D&D story. How about that? You want to do that there, Loki?
Oh, yeah, I love D&D. Used to play AD&D back in the day, a long time ago. I had the old book with the dude on it holding the chick. Oh, yeah, that's great. Let's talk D&D.
All right. Well, this particular situation comes from Game Rant, and we've got a Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, and it's actually shutting down. So apparently,
Culture.
this what?
That's not the D&D I thought.
No, I know. Oh, I know. I know. I defeated you with bad D&D, but it's fine. It's fine. So the servers for Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance are going to go offline on February 25th. That's not a great present for Black History Month, let me tell you. Plus, the game won't be available for purchase after that date. And upon its release in 2021, the title was poorly received due to its bugs and lackluster story. Well, what's the most important thing in D&D, Loki?
Fun. You got to have fun. You got to have a good story. You've got to have good characters. It's all important.
It is.
It's all got to be important, and you have to be able to play it and keep playing it. And now they're shutting down, and you're not going to be able to play it. So I guess being actually able to play the game.
This seems to happen quite frequently. We've been talking about it. And while the servers may exist for a period of time, that doesn't mean the game is going to exist forever. And again, this came out in 2021. It's going to be gone in 2025. It had a 4-year life cycle. So you've got the D&D title struggling to gain solid footing after its 2021 release. I had to sneeze. Anyway, sorry, guys. But it seems that the fixes that they put in place to try to fix some of the more pressing issues were not enough. So the devs behind D&D Dark Alliance have announced that they are shutting down the servers early next year. So while D&D as a franchise has seen remarkable success over the years, including recently, that popularity has not always translated well into new ventures. A buggy release and dull gameplay made Dark Alliance one of 2021's most disappointing games. Though developer Took, is that how you say that? Took Games
Duke.
was quick to respond to feedback. Still, while other D&D titles like Baldur's Gate 3 captivated players, well, Dark Alliance never made a full recovery from its lackluster launch. And that's why I say it's more important to have a complete and fully operational game than to release on time. I don't know. What do you think about that, Loki?
I agree, and I think this live service games need to end. They need to end this type of game because as soon as it's off, it's off. You're not going in, you're not playing it, you're not doing anything. It's just done. If you don't have some kind of pure offline mode, especially with a game like this, you've got nothing. That's it. It's over. You're not playing
Well,
it anymore.
and when it comes to this game, I would say they've got nothing. So, which is a shame. And, I mean, there were people that played that game, but not enough apparently. And again, it costs money to keep servers going. So when you hear about a live service game shutting down, you won't be able to buy it anymore, but you can still play it. Well, sure, they just aren't going to support it anymore. But at a certain point in time, they shut those servers off. You ain't never getting that back.
That's right.
You will not have the interactivity unless it's got some kind of fail-safe communication system that is peer-to-peer, point-to-point, B2B, whatever you want to call it. This doesn't do that. These games, they rely on the interoperability with a server. So on February 25th, it's done. And I guess that overall, Dungeons and Dragons video games face an uncertain future. Does that surprise you at all, Loki, that
No,
D&D is just it's hard to do online like that, right?
especially in like the battle chair they've got now. Yeah, I can imagine it's hard to do without it being online, without being able to play with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. But the shutdown of Dark Alliance is not the only blow to D&D video game adaptations. Wizards of the Coast canceled 5 unannounced games, presumably including at least a few D&D titles. As the company had previously stated, it has had as many as 8 Dungeons and Dragons games in development. It's going to be hard to follow what Larian did with Baldur's Gate 3, don't you think?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and Baldur's Gate has a long history. Larian picked up the ball. They ran with it. They did an excellent job. There's some things that people don't like. There's some things people love. I think it's a good middle ground game of what people love and what they don't like. So it's going to be very difficult. And when you cancel 5 different games, something is in the Kool-Aid over their culture.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the Larian actually took their ball and went home. They're not going to be doing any more D&D titles, at least not Baldur's Gate. And that's our loss, I think, because of, I invested money in that game before it was, live, for real, the early access that they had. And, outside of the game engine, which completely just kept shutting me down, right, which they eventually figured out, it turned out to be a decent title. Not one that I would, go back and play again, at least not anytime soon. But if I'm looking for hours of, entertainment, I might play it one more time. We'll see. I don't know, but this basically means they're done with it. There is Larian was not going to make Baldur's Gate 4. And Wizards of the Coast is going to have to find a new developer that's equal to that task if they want to do it again. Look, Loki, I don't expect much from future Wizards of the Coast. I don't expect much from D&D. I don't really expect much from game studios anymore. You think there's any way to bring those back without the server interoperability, or are they just going to have to make standalone things like, an RPG similar to Baldur's Gate 3 without ties to a server?
Having the option to do that, I think that is what they need to do. Okay, we're gonna make this game. If you want to bring someone else in, player to player, you can do that. You can team up. I mean, imagine not being able to play co-op without being online. That is the problem. We've had this problem for a long time now. Couch co-op's gone. Even the last Halo game could not even figure out how to do couch co-op, and it was there. They just couldn't figure out how to implement it into the game, or they were so lazy and incompetent that they just didn't. And they've got to figure this out. It's not always going to be system to system, cross platforming, whatever. You've got to be able to sit on a couch with someone next to you and be able to play the game if you're going to have co-op mode there. Once you cancel those servers, that whole online experience is gone. So you have to have something there to finish. And they're not going to do that, because once it's made, once it's out, once it's in your hands, they don't care anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, I'm with you. I always want things to be good. You know that I'm sometimes, accused of being a little too positive when it comes to games and gaming world, and that's fine. But it, I always want things to be good. I mean, I want to have a positive experience. The same thing with film and television, although I'm a little more cynical when it comes to that. But I don't can't find a positive thought when it comes to D&D. Anyway, let's get to some of these super chats out there. And just to say a quick thanks to those of you who've been contributing, especially T Neil, who is celebrating his 10th super chat. That's right, with a $10 super chat. I don't know what to say about it. I think I figured out why one side lost the everything. Always some variation of it's someone else's fault. Herbal burble, herbal blurble, incel oppressophobe. It's like a SJW Tourette's. Well, I can't disagree with that. I agree with you 100%, T Neil. It's always somebody else's fault. It's pretty easy just to develop to blame the developer when a game's undercooked like this D&D. Same thing is for a lot of the undercooked stuff, and the fact that they don't want to hear actual criticism of their material. They are too toxically positive. I'm going to start using that even more and more frequently, because it is what's happening, toxic positivity. And again, while I'm often an apologist for undercooked things, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. What about you, bud?
Oh, bro, me and you have both talked about the fact that they don't want gamers' opinions. They don't want gamers' reviews. They don't want gamers, even the gamers they hire to test. They're like, oh, well, that's great feedback, but we're not going to use it. Sorry, bud. And me and you have talked about that. That's not hyperbole. That's not us just making that up. This is their own words.
Yeah. Actual quote. Yeah, we don't care. Play testing? Nah, yeah, we don't care. We got to get this out, Sorry. Sorry you keep floating through the world into the core of the center of the mass. Crazy stuff.
They just don't get it, and they don't want to get it, and they honestly, they don't like gamers. And the more I hear that out of a company, the more I go, you know what? I just won't buy your stuff. I have plenty of options. We have Steam, we have GOG, we have all kinds of games. And in my back libraries probably could fill this room. But I've got so much stuff I've got to go back and play. Soul Reaver 1 and 2 just came out. I played the first hour of that. Absolutely wonderful remake or remaster for Soul Reaver. There's so much stuff coming out and so much stuff re-releasing that it's impossible to keep up with unless you're a console gamer.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the other thing too. There is a ton out there, and it's not going to get. Your library is probably plenty full. You have games you never finished. You have games that you didn't get a chance to play. That are out there that you can go back and do. There's no reason to worry about the future of gaming. The future of gaming is in its past for a little while, and then we'll get back to getting some good stuff, because studios will fold, and or the pieces of the studios will be picked up, like Ubisoft, which we're probably going to talk about them in a minute or a little while. But as they fall apart, other people will pick up their IPs and start to remake them in a good way. All right, let's get to Bass Player 2011 Iffy for $5 with a quarter, saying, talking of Naughty Dog and PS in general, that's PlayStation, Last of Us 2 and Spider-Man 2 are both coming to PC. No release dates yet, but both have Steam store pages. I think we'll be able to keep track of the interest in either of these properties just by the number of Steam purchases for those. Because there are people that don't have consoles that only play on PC will be able to measure what the actual interest for those games are. Plus, if people have already done it on console and just want to see what it looks like if it's on a proper strong PC setup, then we'll also see that. Not to mention the fact that people will put it on their Steam Deck and other things like that. So I think we're going to get a good measurement, and I think Naughty Dog's kind of desperate right now. So is Sony, who owns Naughty Dog. So that's going to be rather telling. We got a $2 super chat from our friend T Neil 89. Used that joke on the pro show, but seemed apt here. No, it was perfect. Perfect. You crush it as usual. Kugat says Archetype Entertainment is a division of WotC, Wizards of the Coast. And they're making Exodus, which dropped a gameplay trailer today. Game looked fantastic, like old school BioWare. I have to take a look at that. I know that wasn't a super chat, but I wanted to acknowledge it because I'm going to have to go take a look at it. But T Neil again for another $2 worth of quarters says, yes, it's almost like the industry is kind of poop. Yeah, the industry is kind of poop. True story. And another $2 in quarters. My goodness, we're going to be playing Mortal Kombat for a while. Yeah, it's almost like the industry. Wait, you did it twice?
He said, oops, I think I accidentally removed that the first time, and there's only one over on YouTube in the YouTube chat.
Okay.
So.
All right, fair enough. Okay, well, then we didn't get double the poop. So you just got $2 in quarters. Fair enough. All right, and finally, oh boy, Jacob shows up. What's up, Jacob Foxfires? For $10 worth of quarters. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob, another voice heard from, says, I blame the companies pushing their all digital agenda and also a bit of the gamers who accepted it. Yeah, it's true. I don't think this would nearly be an issue if stuff like physical is doing strong. Yeah, I know, I'm with you. I'm a big fan of physical gaming. I think Steam has its place. And I don't like it on consoles. I think the minute you go to a non-disc based entertainment, you open up the gate to being, well, controlled by the entertainment companies. I don't really want that. And I think that there needs to be legislation that disincentivizes it, for lack of a better way of saying it, that they actually have to preserve games going forward. I don't know. What do you think, Loki?
To go back what you were saying a minute ago, I've got that beautiful Spider-Man PS5, that limited edition exclusive. Right.
Yeah. Cool.
I won't be buying Spider-Man 2 on PC, and I won't be buying The Last of Us 2 on PC. And there's a lot of stuff I'm not going to rebuy on PC. Yeah. Even though I own Spider-Man, the original Sony Spider-Man, on PS4, PS5, and PC. I'm not going to buy the second one because that was a waste of money. That game was horrible. Last of Us 2 is an absolutely horrible game. Not going to be buying that. Not going to be buying another God of War game on PC because I'm pretty much checked out of that now. They've got problems if they think, oh, we'll just put it on PC and everything will be hunky-dory. No. One thing I will be doing is getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because you're going to be able to mod it. And yeah, the Square Enix came out and said, please don't mod our stuff. But they're saying that because they don't want to be dragged. They have this weird illusion that the United States is going to shut them down if they do not kowtow to the way Sony and Microsoft and the way they want to do things. That can't go on. They've got to be able to do what they need to do and do what they want to do and come out with the games that they need to come out with. The fear of being canceled and shut down has to end. It has to. We gotta stop that.
And that's the thing, right? We need companies to recognize that they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine. And we need to make sure of that. Again, it's going to take a little bit of legislation, but it needs to be very specific legislation that kind of limits what can be done by the gaming companies to the gamers, not what the gamers can do to the games. Because I'm telling you right now, the only reason that a lot of the Bethesda games are still played is because of the mods. Otherwise, people would have abandoned Fallout 4 and almost every other Bethesda game because they just stink out the
modders fix them. Modders fix them. That Elder Scrolls, all of it. modders fix
Oh man,
what
Elder
Bethesda
Scrolls would
messes up.
crash. You would be in the middle of the last fight with the dragon and be like, done. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. Speaking of amazing things, we just got a pro raid. Hello, everybody from the pro side of things. We appreciate you. Believe it or not. Believe it or who. Yeah, we got to get to another story. Sorry, that was a long D&D conversation. I appreciate that. We got a lot of people that showed up, like Chris Dickerson, and we got One Punch Man Tolkien fan out there, and many more. So thanks for popping in. Olaf is there as well. I really do want to talk about the Game Awards, but we're going to push it back one other spot. I'm going to make you talk about something that I think is ridiculous from late last week that I didn't get a chance to visit about, and I didn't get a chance to even do on my channel. This is nuts. I don't understand it. People's mindsets, especially when it comes to like news channels, news networks. But apparently, NBC News implies video game Among Us may have inspired the healthcare CEO eliminator.
Keyword may could have possibly.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that may have inspired that person. We don't really know, and that's a story that disappeared in less than a week. Where's that story now? Why is nobody talking about Luigi? But regardless,
it wasn't me. It was Mario.
there you go. From one of our amazing people at that Park Place, we've got in one of the more egregious narratives to come out of the 24-hour news cycles coverage of the removal of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. NBC News attempted to create a connection between the alleged Luigi and the video game Among Us. Well, I don't know. Was he wearing green? I don't. How? Why? What? He didn't look like these little like roundish blob guys. I played this game. There's nothing that leads you to believe that it would have a connection. So, obviously all of that happened, but police seized a backpack containing a 3D printed eliminator with a silencer that's believed to be the removal weapon. Mangione was also in possession of multiple fake IDs and a handwritten manifesto and a Faraday bag. If you don't know what that is, it's to protect your phone from any snooping and or stealing and or EMP device. Regardless, Mangione instantly became a celebrity following his arrest, and many Americans that have been unhappy with the healthcare system were somehow holding him up as some kind of a hero, which I thought was a little bit disgusting. Jimmy Kimmel actually dedicated an entire section of his monologue to joking about this, which I thought was in poor taste. But the 24-hour news cycle being what it is and always in need of material, you ended up with Alejandro Romero, a former college roommate of Mangione, who was once in the same Discord server as him, being part of NBC's news. He says, I just found it extremely ironic that, we were in this game and there would actually be a true killer among us. As soon as his photo and name popped up on X, my friend texted me asking if I knew him. And then either I was calling some 10 friends or they were calling me. I didn't speak to anybody today who wasn't already aware of what had happened. And this is just a crazy thing, right? This just tells you how ridiculous the mainstream news is when it comes to anything, including video games. Remember, video games make you violent, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our own United States government was calling not pro Jonas's favorite game of all time, a simulator for things that only adults do. Mass Effect, of course, because that's Jonas's favorite game of all time.
Yeah. Oh no, it
Yeah,
is. Yeah, yeah. I know. I can't believe how much he talks about that game. It's crazy, more than Nintendo even. Which
all the
uh,
time, all the
that's
time.
fine.
And
Yeah.
look what they did with it. They were like, "Oh, you we're accusing you of this and that and the other," and it's always something. It's like the stick hoop thing in A Million Ways to Die in the West. Oh, the kids are going to rock their brain with a new stick hoop they stick down the street. Video
Yeah.
games don't make people do crazy things like what Luigi and Mario did.
And
They just
yeah, and it doesn't. D&D didn't do that either. So it's
D and
like
D, yeah,
we've been dealing with this my whole childhood through my adulthood.
the panic
The
culture. It's the
panic.
panic.
Well, the panic is that you need to look elsewhere for the misbehavior of others, and usually it's out of an irrational thought processes about how it will improve the world when ultimately it doesn't. It just kind of destroys yours. But I don't know. It is what it is. But let's jump on. We got another super chat in here. Um, with Hawaii Dragon Star for $2 for the quarters. Thank you, my friend. Ye gods, are they blaming video games again? Yes. Yes, they are. Thank you very much for that. And out of touch is the right term analogy.
And if they
Indeed.
can't control it, they'll burn it down.
Yeah. Well, and that's they try. And again, it's one of the reasons why they cannot let the tides turn on video games. They want the video game industry to force behaviors. Again, just think back to what Larry Fink said, and everything in your world is all about why the corporations want to control you. They want to dumb things down. They want to weaken the entrepreneurial spirit, the strength of individuals, and things like that. Remove meritocracy. But that's not what this channel's for. This channel's about talking about video games. And another story dropped today, Loki. I don't think you know about this story. I think I'm going to surprise you. I think it's going to be like the D&D story. I think you're not ready. Think you're ready?
Really?
Yeah. See, there was this video game that everybody was having a melty over for a lot of reasons. It was coming out of China. The developers supposedly were mistranslated, saying some ridiculous things that were,
Oh no.
you know, wild. And it was called Black Myth Wukong. And something odd happened today. What you ask? Well, Black Myth Wukong sees major player count spike. Uh-oh. Why? I don't know. Let's take a look at it. So, following the Game Awards, Black Myth Wukong has seen a spike in concurrent players. I wonder why. It's one of the best games of the year. It jumped to 213,882 on December 14th, and it took home the prize for Best Action Game as well as the Player's Voice Award. Well, there you go. And you've got uh, a lot of people saying it was the Game Awards. I would agree. The Game Science title had already maintained an impressive number for single player game, but winning Best Action Game of 2024 and the Player's Voice category seemed to have brought even more attention to Black Myth Wukong.
Wasn't this game labeled before it came out as terrible?
Mhm.
And they had to go through all kinds of like dibs if they wanted to make it better, and they said no, we're not going to spend $7 million. We're not going to give you $7 million to dibs our game.
Yeah.
And they were threatened, and there were bad reviews coming, and oh wow, and it did really good, and players love it. I wonder why. They didn't let Dibs, DEI, or any of that other stuff near it. They didn't let Sweet Baby near it. They didn't let any of these corporate woo-haws near it that think they know everything. They did what they wanted, and they gave you the game that they felt you deserved. And look at how much praise and how much wonder it's gotten.
I
Isn't
know
that amazing?
it's quite amazing. I mean, the one game where it did lose, Black Myth Wukong lost best art direction to Metaphor Refantazio, but if you take a look at that game, you probably
You know
understand
why?
why.
Yeah.
Both games, both games, kind of suffered because of Astrobot this year. I mean, we're gonna talk about the Game Awards probably a little bit later. If not, we'll definitely talk about them next week because they were, in my estimation, a little fishy. But all of those games were just widely praised, which I find fascinating. Feng Ji's comments way back when supposedly sparked some backlash. Those comments were mistranslated maliciously, for lack of a better way of saying it, and they were also taken out of context, for lack of a better way to say it. But none of those things that they tried to attack this game with, as you mentioned before, Loki, seem to affect it much. Look at those numbers, dude. Look at them. I mean, this thing bounced right back up during the Game Awards, right back up there.
A
And
lot of these companies with live games right now they
they got a
wish they had these numbers right now. And this is a single player game.
yeah.
This isn't a live game. It's not an only game online game. This is just a single player game that is trouncing a lot of these online only games.
Yeah. And look, as Loki said, try to get the dibs in there. There was a certain company that we've been calling out for the better part of 2 years now, Sweet Baby Inc., that really tried to extract money from them, and they weren't having it, so they threw a bunch of shade at them, and it didn't matter. 2.4 million people at the peak, and an average still in the 100,000 range. Loki, this game, I'm telling you, a lot of people love it. A lot of people love
And
it.
for good reason. I remember I gave it like a 7 or an 8 when it came out. It's done even better since then. They've cleaned up a lot of the issues. There's still the pathing. You're on rails, and if you have these huge vistas in this game. There are these beautiful vistas that you can see, but you're kind of stuck. It's almost the way that like they did Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. You've got these areas, but you're confined to these paths. And I don't know if I really like that compared to like just an open world you can go and explore.
Yeah, and just to put a little cap on this one, the other games did get some boost. The obvious winners here, um, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got a 268% sales boost. Metaphor Fantasio got 170% increase in its sales. That says a lot. People are jumping in; they're really appreciating it, and I'm telling you, this is the beginning of something beautiful, a gaming revolution, maybe from studios you've never heard from, maybe from studios that are stepping from 2A to 3A class games. And I think that's what we need over the course of the next few years. What do you think?
I do, and I think we need some houses cleaned.
Yeah, we do.
The threats and the almost like, hey, you have to do it our way or it'll never sell here. Stuff from the U.S. to Japan has got to stop. Japan needs to start going, no, we're going to come out with the game we want. And if you don't want to put it out on yourselves, then don't. They need to start standing up. Square Enix needs to be one of them. Capcom needs to be another one. These game studios that have lasted the test of time have to start standing up for themselves, not just gamers standing up for them. They have to stand up for themselves and say, no, we've lost this money. We're not going to continue to do this. We're tired of our games getting a bad rep because you say we have to do something. Otherwise, there will be consequences. It's almost like an extortion racket now. It's almost like you're dealing with the mob here.
Yeah.
SBI and these other companies should not have this kind of power and clout to go, oh, well, if you don't do what we want, you just can't come out with it.
Yeah.
No, that's killing. It's going to kill the industry. It's killing artists and it's killing the art form of video games.
Right. And look, we've got to solve that. We've got to prevent some, supposed governmental weirdness that's happening. The international governing bodies of garbage that are trying to, influence things, and not just gaming, other stuff as well. And as far as a gaming headset, which is a question from our friend John Yolden, um, I use uh what's the name of the three-headed snake company?
Crack our razor,
Yeah. I have a
razor.
I th this is a Razer headset that allows me to use it for multiple things, including, as a phone gear or as a gaming headset with a mic I can plug in, or, anything. This I really like these. I think it's even got the ability to go wireless if I wanted to as well, but I don't do wireless headsets because of the delay and because it messes up for streaming, on this
I've
type of
had
thing.
3 razor Krakens. They're the
Mhm.
green ones, so you got black and green.
Yeah.
And I've had 3 of those, I think, in like 8 years. And each one I bought's great. They sound great. They're very comfortable on your head.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes the connector with the earpiece will break. That's what happened to my other two, but they have them on other sides. So while I
Yeah.
wish they were built a little better where their earpieces are, they sound great, they feel great,
I
and
just
it's great
I
enough
pull
that I keep buying one.
Yeah, and I pull the mic out because I'm not using it, so it's a plug in, plug out,
The
you know?
I got mine's a little retractable one, so you can
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah,
put
yeah.
it back up into the earpiece or pull it out when
Yeah,
you want to use
yeah, yeah, yeah. So there you go, John. Those are our thoughts. We're not endorsing anything. We're not
it.
sponsored by them, but just
No.
off the top. So let's get over to some of the other comments that we've got. I don't see any new super chats, so for now we will leave that be. And we'll jump over to a story that we didn't get a chance to talk about the other day. Loki and I have a bunch of videos coming out on the channel here quickly, and we'll be dropping those here soon enough. Real quick super chat reaction right now from Jacob Foxfires for $5 worth of quarters. Says the Japanese creatives want to do what they want. Yeah, but it's the credit card companies or the suits that don't want to do that. It's sad. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to get somebody else to pay for these games. I mean, right, Loki? I mean, they're not funding them.
No, no, and the whole thing with, like, debanking, I know you've talked about that, I've talked about that,
Yeah.
is absolutely crazy, and if you can basically tell you can basically tell another company, "This needs to be your policy, and if you don't follow it, we won't let you have a bank account." That's insane.
Yeah.
Again, we're dealing with almost an extortion racket. "Oh,
Yep.
well, we won't let you do business in the world unless you do it our way." How there needs to be things to protect this. We fought in the 90s and the aughts to have this artistic freedom so games could be covered under the First Amendment, and it's freedom of expression, it's freedom of speech. And now we're willingly censoring it and sending it to companies to go, is this okay? Can you check all this over and make sure there's no, anything that's going to offend anybody? If there is, will you please change it all to conform to your way of doing things? That is insane.
It is. And one more. My goodness, Jacob Foxfire is rolling in here with another $10 worth of quarters. My goodness. I'm going to order a 2-liter bottle of pop now. Also, speaking of numbers, Helldivers 2 had one heck of a boom after the Game Awards. Yes, they did. About 200,000 total players out fighting the new faction and enjoying the big content bomb they set off. Yes. Yes, it's really weird. Helldivers always seems like it's 2 step forwards, 1 step back, 2 step forward, 1 step back, but a lot of people were really getting after it, and, I like that. I like the fact that there's a studio out there that's, just continuing to deliver on their content and regular content upgrades, can you think of another studio that's doing that right now?
Blizzard is.
Mm,
Even the people don't like Blizzard. I know they don't, but I'll give them credit where credit is due. They're constantly updating Diablo 4, making it brighter. I'm not a WoW guy, so I don't know. I played it like once when it first came out and took a ride on a Griffin, and then never went back to it. My barbarian is probably still standing somewhere in the wilderness, going, "When's the next Griffin coming?" But I mean, I know Blizzard's doing it with Diablo 4, and they're constantly being content. And the game is so much better. This is another Cyberpunk story. I hated 4 when it came out. I was so disappointed. I was so angry. And now I've got, 250 level Paragon pointed barbarians and sorceresses, and it's fun. It's good. You go in, you do a couple rotations of what you need to do, and you can pop back out and spend 10, 15, 30 minutes to an hour playing your game that you want.
Yes, you can. And you know what? We've got something that we've wanted for a minute, and it's perfect timing because we're about to talk about a story that this fella wrote that I really wanted to be able to record with. So I'm glad he's here. Hello,
Hey, I'm
Spencer.
here. What's going on?
It's
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
it's a me, Spensorio.
Luigi, not that Luigi.
Not that guy. Anyway,
Lusu.
hey, you wrote something on the 13th that I was wanting to show off to Loki here. Talking about what happens when a studio goes sideways and everything falls apart in a unique way. So according to you, Spencer, following the Squad Kill the Justice League's end of content announcement, Warner Brothers Games cut 99 employees from Montreal support studio. Wow.
Yeah, obviously my heart goes out to them. It sucks to lose your job, but we kind of all saw this coming, right? Like this is just part and parcel for the industry nowadays. I'm sure all of our viewers are tired of me hearing me say this, but we live at a time in the industry where if you don't get it 100% right, or not even 100%, but like 120% right out of the gate, your job's gone. Like if you don't deliver the next fortnight with your first thing out of the gate, you're in the unemployment line next week. And that's because the budgets are so overinflated. The projections are way too big. All the execs, all the suits think that this is going to be like Hollywood, or that every video game is going to do GTA levels. And when it doesn't, they go, what happened? How could that have happened? Well, we have too many employees now. We got to cut back. I don't know how this happened. And it's like, it happened because you went on a freaking hiring spree thinking that like this Task Force X would have been your big winner.
And you both were right. If you guys go back to one of the first streams we ever did, Culture and Spencer both said that the numbers they're giving us are low. They're very low. We do not believe these numbers. And we heard from the very mouse of the Game Award, what was it? 35,000 employees have been laid off this year. Yep. That's way worse than last year. And that's exactly what you both said.
So bad.
Take last year's numbers and double and triple it. That's what we're going to have this year.
Yep. And we're not even done with this year. There's
I remember when Culture said that now too. Whoa.
Yeah, there's still problems. And again, that was back when I was saying there's going to be at least 9 studios that are gone at the end of the year. And it's way more than that. So it's wild. But look, this is
a great Ubisoft is still here.
Yes, but they are being pieced out.
I know, I was going to say, but for how long?
Yeah, for how long? I do know this, and I'm not really a fan of that middle finger there, so we'll get by that in a moment. But in what can only be described as a historically unpopular game, giving one last middle finger to the world before its demise. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I just said it, darn it. They're got their layoffs. Not surprised. So that happened December 9th, saw developer Rocksteady Studios inform players that following the upcoming conclusion of the game's Season 4 and addition of Deathstroke to the titular team's playable roster, they would no longer be producing any of the Squad content. With Deathstroke joining the roster, the Squad's crusade against Brainiac is drawing to an end, wrote the developers in an official blog post. Season 4 will finish up with Episode 8, which is scheduled for release on January 2025. And that will serve as the last seasonal episode for the Squad Kill the Justice League.
We barely knew her.
We barely did, yeah. As reported by Stephanie Dupice. Is that correct, Spencer?
Beats me.
Okay.
I know what it looks like in writing.
Dupice? Anyway, for French language Canadian news outlet Radio Canada, on the same day as Rocksteady broke the above news, Warner Brothers undertook the elimination of 99 jobs from the support studio. who readers may best remember as the developers behind the previous and similarly themed Batman live service title, Gotham Knights. Per the outlet's sources, these layoffs primarily affected those employees working for Keyword, a Warner Brothers subcontractor responsible for QA of video games. Do you think, Spencer, since you wrote this piece, that that means they're really bailing out of video games at Warner Brothers?
I wouldn't say they're bailing out of video games. I think they're bailing out of this specific video game. So, yeah, like obviously that was the QA team that was brought on to work on Task Force X. I think here's where I think the situation lies for Warner Brothers. I think this was a big miss for them, like a giant one. There isn't, whatever terms anybody wants to use to describe this, like whatever negative terms, they're not harsh enough. Like this was a bomb of historic proportions. Mortal Kombat 1 was also pretty bad, to the point where they've canceled all their future plans because nobody wanted to play it. So really, all Warner Brothers has right now is everything hinges on Hogwarts Legacy 2. Not even kidding. Like if that game does not at least meet expectations, we're going to see that branch like halved. It's going to be a bloodier bath than it already is.
Yeah.
How much have you heard about WB selling NetherRealm? Because I keep hearing this rumor that WB is going to sell NetherRealm, and so basically Mortal Kombat's going to another company. I mean, if that's true, pretty much this whole guest star thing, everything they've done, all that's gone.
Right.
They can't sell that. They can't do any.
I haven't heard a rumor to that point. But for my 2 cents, I wouldn't, if things get bad enough, I wouldn't put it past Warner Brothers to start selling off studios. I'm curious though, just considering how bad they are at business, if they would hold on to like NetherRealm just to retain the rights to Mortal Kombat so they can keep making movies. Because for some reason they think that the last one was a really great one and everybody loved it, even though it was terrible. So who knows?
That is really strange. You know, I wasn't thinking about that, but I haven't heard that rumor in a long time. I think it was like right around 2021 when I heard that rumor about NetherRealm. But man, if you're hearing that again, that's strange. I will ask you this question though, Loki. Have you ever heard of a company doing this? They say an employee said, "We were offered 2 choices: talk to a counselor to find a new job, or put our name on a callback list for when there's work for us." But the second option,
that was weird, right?
Yeah. The second option could only happen in 2026. Have you ever heard of that before? I mean, I've never had options like that when I've been let go.
No, and even for the video game industry, I've never heard of someone doing that. That means that any QA work, they're not going to need anybody till 2026, where they already have whoever they're going to use, which means they don't see any kind of growth or expansion.
Bingo,
at all next year. That's crazy.
Yeah, but they've got rocked year over year. They got rocked by 2 failing games after they had such a huge success with Harry Potter, right? Or is that just me misremembering? Somebody help me.
No, you're completely like that's what I'm saying. Everything they've pretty much done since Legacy has been a disaster for them, and not just like it was an okay game. Not a lot of people. It did fine. Like not like that, but like actual disasters.
Man, that's just
to the point where investor like meetings have people asking now, like naming that game specifically and going, "What's up? So how do you guys feel about Task Force X?" And then Warner Brothers has to go, "Dang it, we're really, really proud of it. We're really excited, yay!" Until they get to the point where they have to be like, "Yeah, we missed. It's done. We lost 400,000 on it." 400 million.
400 million, yeah. I was gonna say, that's bad. It's very bad. It's very, very bad.
Very, very bad.
Very, very bad. But yeah, I don't know. I've just never heard of that before. I was just curious if you guys had. But so their total local staff was about 240 individuals. So they're moving over 1/3 they're getting rid of. Somebody do better math than me.
No,
So
that's exactly it. If you have less than 300 and you cut 99, it's a little over a third.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. See, that's why Spencer's here for math. Just kidding, everybody.
You picked
All
the worst Asian for that. We have better Asians. We could have gotten Mrs. Movie Monster. She's probably better at this.
Oh, you guys are funny. Wow. I just have to redo all the stuff.
I can
Guys,
only count to 4.
I can only count to 4. I was gonna update the.
Well, that's good. That means you're at least on track to play Borderlands.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, we're gonna get to that story. We're gonna get to that one. We talked a little about the Game Awards. We got 2 more we got to get to before we wrap, and we don't have a lot of time. So, but it looks like Montreal was where they took the brunt of this. And I don't know. Players are disappointed, but Warner Brothers should have pulled the plug on the game. Says several people that were talking about this. I don't know. I just, to me, I'm not disappointed that this only had its last season update. This was an ill-conceived idea beginning to end. You guys have any final thoughts on this? And before I pull the plug on it,
Mrs. Freeze pulled the plug on, or Nora Freeze pulled the plug on this game. It's
Probably true.
bad. They should have never made this. They only have themselves to blame. Any company that came along was like, we'll make your game better by changing everything about it. Those people need to stop going door to door selling things, and WB needs to stop answering that door. If it wants to make good games.
I think we do have to blame WB for just allowing it to happen in the first place. But let's jump on some of these super chats.
Wait. Let me finish up. Let me give my thoughts really quick.
Oh, sorry, Spencer. Sorry.
No worries. One, my thoughts are really quick. One, remember, guys, this is like the biggest game that directly gave like credit to Sweet Baby, like gave them a big section in their credits, not just like oh look, they worked on it. It was like, big thanks, they did this. So yeah, exactly what Culture and Loki were saying. 2, this studio, back to what Culture was saying, this Montreal studio, this one's probably done within the next year or 2, because like I mentioned in the article, they tried Gotham Knights, that crashed, they shrunk, they got put on a support team for Task Force X, that bombed, that stunk, they shrunk. There's no available work, like Loki pointed out, until 2026 at minimum. This is there, it's just on life support at this point. And now you can pull that life support.
All right, let me pull the live support from that. Thank you, Spencer. That was some good sum up. You sum up well. Summed up. Speaking of summed up, you got Jacob Foxfire contributing in a big way. Another $5 in quarters here, saying it's funny. So funny seeing this failure next to another superhero shooter on the market that's killing it. Marvel Rivals now has 20 million players. Impressive. This thing came out the box screaming, and it came out of a non-Western studio. Really?
Have you seen the designs? Except for Wolverine. I don't like the way they did him or Hulk, because little tiny head, huge, humongous body.
That's what Wolverine is, though. Wolverine's not Hugh Jackman. He's a weird gremlin man.
Yeah, that's actually true. It's a very strange look. Like, the character accurate version in Deadpool versus Wolverine had me laughing. He hopped off the stool.
Wolverine.
Yeah, he hopped off the stool. He was the size of the stool. I was like, oh, that's weird.
I was like, Kino, this is cinema.
I don't know about that, but I do know that, Marvel Rivals is killing it. And it also is going to force Disney to go back to, I don't know, making good stuff, maybe. You can only hope. I'm interested in what Pro would think about that, to be fair, but someday we got to get him in here. I don't know why
he was allergic. Here in the chat. I've seen him.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Jay, I saw your earlier comment, and I just want to say that, we need good cinematics in games still, and we need good gameplay mechanics as well.
That was from a cutscene. Yeah, that was when you had the Justice League thing picked up. That was from a cutscene.
Yeah,
in Justice League.
Yeah. Real quick, we've got base player 2011 Iffy for another $20 in quarters. I'm getting pizza. We're getting pizza. That's right. We got pizza. Spencer, you're gonna have to figure out what you want on your pizza, and it's not pineapple. I'm not gonna have fruit on there. Just saying.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
I'll put rice on it.
That might actually
Honor
be
the
good.
ancestors.
Crunchy pizza. Anyway, he says, I love watching the downfall of the Squad kill the Justice League. That game is what happens when a bunch of Hollywood's C-suites think they know how games industry works. You are so correct. That is exactly
Correcto.
what happened. Exactly. Sorry, you need more than an IP and flashy lights to be successful here. You actually do. Gamers want to be engaged. They want to feel part of the action. They want immersion. They want a good story. And they want game mechanics that maybe, are cutting edge. Because that's what we are. We're weird. Like, bring us the new bullet time, please, or something.
Do you
like
remember
that?
You remember that game? That game thing we got with Carl Urban in it. I think it was last year. Spencer, I don't know if you remember this or not.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
He's all over the promotional material for this game. It's like Carl Urban. He wasn't supposed to do this because of like actor guild strike, whatever it was, but he did it anyway. And he does this thing and it's just all over the place. And then he's not in the game. You've got some doofus giving you orders and you're like, what happened to Carl Urban?
They do that all the time lately, and it's bugging me. So that was I remember that now. That was for Armored Core, but like so another one that I remember is right before I believe it was Tekken 8 came out. They had Brian Cox, the guy from like Succession.
Succession and a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah, and a whole lot of other stuff.
I mean, wasn't he in if you could throw or dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball. Isn't that him?
I'm pretty sure that's him actually. Or no, I don't know. I feel
you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That might be him. The chat will let us know for sure. All white people look alike to me, No, I'm kidding. But so like Brian Cox before Tekken 8, they did a commercial where he came out and he sort of like explained the lore to the series, which was funny because it's like, look, Brian Cox is getting into this really weeby like lore, but then he's not in the game at all. It was just like a celebrity endorsement. And then I don't know if you guys saw it yesterday, Monster Hunter, the new one that's coming out on mobile, that dropped like a promo thing where Daisy Ridley introduced the game, but she's not in it. She has nothing to do with it. So it's just this really weird, like celebrity endorsement level thing we're getting with video games now. I don't know.
Why do people think that gamers want celebrities? I mean,
right?
if they're not playing the game, like if it's not like Henry Cavill, like literally, like gaming against you, like okay, like Snoop Dogg, I believe is going to play me in Madden, right? I know that's going to happen, right? but like like I don't want like Nicole Kidman trying to endorse a video game. That doesn't work for me. She can go back to eating her crickets
trying to
or
tell
whatever.
us to play video games. It's like we know you don't mean that.
Henry Cavill. Warhammer 40K 3.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That'd be great.
Dude, speaking of that 40K thing he's working on, it's going to be so good, dude. Some of the stuff that
I hope so.
Some of the stuff
much.
we're hearing. Oh man, yeah. And anybody who said that wasn't going to happen didn't know it was going on the inside. I'm just going to say it. So
I found it really weird that a lot of people, and I have nobody particular in mind. So if this, like, I saw it.
Oh, no, I understand. Yeah, no,
like,
I'm saying
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah,
I don't know where that came from. I was like, guys, it takes a minute to like secure everything, right? Like he's just got to sign the contracts.
And he's executive producer too. I mean, that's
exactly.
like.
Yeah, no, it's like there's like I have some really good inside baseball stuff because
of course.
But I was like no, I mean, yes, they're still negotiating, but they're still sitting down at a table working this out because that's a lot of hoops to get through because there are a lot of people that were involved in the rights in the first place that got the ball rolling that, wanted their stuff sorted out too. So it is what it is. Anyway, moving on, gonna stick with games. We've got T Neil 89s for $5 more in quarters. My goodness, my friends, we are gonna eat well tonight. Pizza. Maybe we'll get some wings.
Tummy ache incoming. Let's go.
That's right. So for 5 more quarters, but that's assuming they're being honest, which is press X to doubt. That's true. This is the world we live in. You gotta assume a lot of things. By the way, T. Neal, thank you for your successive 10th super chat. We really appreciate that here, my
100th
friend.
at this point.
Yeah. Let's see who is out there. Yes, I know tomato's a fruit, but it's a tomato. Anyway, TNeil89, aka dislikes puns for $5 more and quarters, says WB crediting. I cannot speak. Crediting and thanking SBI. Oh dear. That's like UNICEF crediting and thanking the Waffen SS for their guidance and ethics. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Woof.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's a good one.
Get what you pay for. Remember that.
Speaking of getting what you pay for, Jacob Foxfires for another $5 and quarters. My goodness.
I want one of those marble cookie brownie things too. I never get to have those. We gotta get dessert.
You want the fudge in it? Yeah. Anyway. All right. So return to mandatory turret sections in single player games. Well, sure. Sign me up. Sign me up. And finally, we got to the last one, the 10th super chat from T-Neil89. They got the wrong impression from Keanu Reeves. They really did. And by the way, that's why that game got delayed for flipping ever, because Keanu says, well, yeah, I'll be in your game.
What do you do? What do you do when you're like, hey, I'm sure you're not interested. But we came up with this idea to have you. Oh, dude, I'd love to be in Cyberpunk. You would.
Wait.
Well,
great.
Wait. You want to be Johnny? We were only 3 years into development on this thing, but you want to be Johnny? Sure.
Why not?
All right. Thank you, Keanu. And thank you, T. Neal, for your incredible memory and context placement. Do I smell toast? Like, wait, you think I'm having a stroke? No. Since tomato is a fruit, then ketchup is jelly? Oh,
Technically.
man. We're way out. All right, let's get to this. And no, I don't smell toast. I'm not even toast. Toasty. Anyway, okay, all right. Well, we got to get to this one because it was in the thing. What do you call it? The description. All right. And I know that I know Spencer likes when we get to the things that are in the description. So Spencer really cares.
It's all me. I harangue him every day. I'm like, if we're not hitting what is listed, I am taking you to court.
That's right. Could be in big trouble. Speaking of being in big trouble, somebody's suing somebody, and this is happening far too frequently in our sphere. I had extra consonants.
Yeah.
This is what I think it is, culture. Spencer, bro.
Yeah, except that unfortunately, I don't think this is his story, but we'll get there. We got one from Spencer again, I think, in a minute. But let's just throw this on the screen.
A team dub is a dub.
It's right. This is coming straight from the horse's mouth.
Oh no! I thought we were talking Nintendo.
No. But we should. Anyway, so the Mercante is in the news again because, well, they went and sued the SmashJT fella. And you can read all about that, not only in Bounding, but over on that Park Place and, other wonderful places. But the Mercante did something you're not supposed to do, getting rid of evidence, deleting contextually important tweets that are very incriminating because they make her look bad and also make her case look bad. And her attorney's probably going, yeah. So let's get her off the screen as requested by one of the people on the chat. So yes, the timing of her purge couldn't be more suspicious given the recently filed lawsuit against SmashJT, who's actually writing the story. It raises serious questions about her motivations behind her actions and the legal implications that they carry. Suffice is to say that obviously us YouTube folk have been covering this for a long time, as has Bounding. Spencer, you have any thoughts about this particular court case or anything you want to weigh in before we scooch past this?
Not really. So the main person covering this for us has been Ryan. I really don't care. I'm kind of just like, here's the thing. I like Smash is a good guy. He's a okay guy. I've had no issues with him personally. I just think him and Alyssa are kind of doing this to each other. Like one wouldn't exist without the other. So I have no dog in this fight. I'll just wait to see how it tears out. You guys probably know more about it than I do. Because I've just tried to go, oh, look, that's happening. All right, Ryan, that's on you. I'm going over here.
Well, and this is a what we call a symbiotic relationship, I think, when it comes to
yeah.
I mean, SmashJT just hit 100K subscribers on YouTube, so he's doing okay. Plus, he raised a bunch of money in record time. I think like $46,000 in under 24 hours for his legal defense for the retainer, which would have been $25,000, so more than. So he's covered for a good run into an extended engagement.
Gosh,
here.
lawyers' fees just in general are always like, they always
crazy.
make my heart hurt.
Well, and especially if you get somebody as good as Ron Coleman, which we'll get into in just a second. But anyway, so her poor publicity facing behavior has garnered significant backlash from the gaming community. Yes, it has, with many creators reacting to her posts and discussing how figures like her have negatively contributed to the industry's poor reputation. Well, she got a pretty rough reputation herself. But in response, Mercante has somehow claimed offense at this coverage, playing victim. And anyway, so here we are. There seem to be legal and ethical ramifications. And this is something that I thought was great the other night on not only Hypnotic stream, Saturday night hypnosis, but also here on Valiant Renegade's live stream, which just happened, where they discussed the deletion of this, pertinent material and what you should or could think about it. So Ron Coleman elaborated on the fact that this was, not just questionable, but it's illegal. And he said so on X, emphasizing how such actions undermine the integrity of any legal proceeding. He says, people are asking me about what happens when a litigant destroys social media evidence. And yes, it's exactly what you think. Spoliation, sanctions, and staying social media savvy. Basically, handing you an article to read that breaks it down is how bad it is. So according to Coleman, the deletion of the tweets could serve as evidence in a legal case, could be considered obstruction of justice, a serious offense with federal implications.
Am I wrong? This is a regular question. Don't they hold like backups or something on the servers? Like if Ron really wanted him, he could request him, or not really wanted, but Ron could request him. I'm not positive. I'm genuinely asking.
I think
he'd have to go through a police. He would have to go through the police. Right. The police would be able to retrieve them and then give them to him. He can't just go, "Hey, I'm a lawyer. Give me this."
Right.
He's got to go through the police.
Or he could go to archive.md apparently and pull.
If they got him, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think Alyssa's probably one of those people like Taylor Lorenz who gets archived all the time.
I was just about to say that, Culture. Yeah. I'm like, because I laughed and I was like, although I'm pretty sure that the second she posts something, it gets archived like 7 times immediately.
Yeah, and people stopped archiving Taylor Lorenz on her uncle's web archive thing. They go to other places to do so. So anyway. Because that's the Wayback Machine. That's her family member that controls that, can wipe it clean for her anytime. But anyway,
I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, but anyway, so Mercante isn't the only one engaging in this behavior, but let's start with her. So let's take a look at the fact that all of her ridiculous bologna sausage is why she has what she's got. This is a pattern among industry insiders, by the way. So Hypnotic exposed this live on Saturday Night Hypnosis. You can go back and watch the stream. It's really good. Talking about BGG and these other people and Ash Parrish and Campbell specifically, just going through all the terrible behavior people in the gaming industry.
Jason Schreier,
Yeah,
Steven Marr. I know all these names by heart.
well, yeah, you write about them enough. But Grums talks about it a little bit, saying Alyssa Mercante is mass deleting her tweets after SmashJT raises legal war chest.
I wonder why.
Yeah, because she's not going to be able to get out of this one. And I'm telling you, the attorney that works for her has not been giving her good advice, I guess, or she hasn't been listening, or her attorney didn't bother. I don't know. But in order not to put these bad words appear on the screen for a long period of time, I'll just say Smash J's, he's in for a fight, and he's in for a long-term fight. What do you guys say? You think
I mean, we do see this a lot, right? Culture, and not just from like people on the left, but it comes from people on the right. People will go, "Oh, I'm doing a lawsuit against this person," and then just continue to act like an ass. And you're like, "Dude, what are you doing? What? Stop posting evidence. Stop making your case worse." So I could genuinely believe that even if Alyssa like did get advice, because I feel like you have to get some level of that advice, she just went, "Oh, I'm gonna make it better for myself." But if she was told to do that, even worse. Now that's like a whole different ethic question.
Yeah, and then the idea of doxing him, because Kasperius brings this up. The idea of doxing him in the lawsuit by making it public the way that she did without redacting it, I mean, that just creates a point of harm. And in my opinion, because we know what people do with people's addresses, could she be on the hook?
That's
for
the
doing
thing
that?
we should all be like railing against. Even I can say like, what the hell is wrong with you on that one?
Yeah. So it is what it is. But I feel like the minute you do something like that, you make it more accessible for people to perform bad behavior. Um, maybe that should require some sanctions as well. I don't know. But I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to pretend to be one. I dealt with attorneys a lot in my former career, in my former business, all the time. In fact, almost daily. But I can talk a little bit about contract law because I engaged in it all the time. But I can't really speak about.
Do you think it'll
about
be
that.
a super long like drawn out fight, or do you think like Ron's just not going to take any of that crap and just shoot it down like every second it comes through to the point
Well,
we're done with this in 3 months?
in the two states where this could be litigated, there's something called anti-slap laws.
Yeah.
And so
Smash is in California, right?
yeah, California, New York,
Yeah,
those are the two
in New
states. So we're
York,
dealing
yeah.
with like an entire country apart from each other, but both have anti-slap laws. So it's like you get to that
Yeah.
point, it's gonna be
That's
like,
where
nah, immediately dismissible, and it's a specious, no, at best. So sorry, it's just this is one of those things that I feel like she's going to lose no matter what. This is an in vain cause that is nothing more than a nuisance. That's all it is. It's a nuisance suit at best.
Well,
So,
I also feel like again, going back to sort of what I said with or what we were saying about the like symbiotic thing, I almost feel like if a judge goes like, "Okay, let me see what you're going." Okay, yeah, Smash did make some video, but he made some videos about you, but then you kept going right back at him? Really? This isn't harassment anymore. This is fighting.
yeah, I mean it's just an internet spat, and again,
Right.
the problem is it can lead to real world harm because of what she's done. The journalist should be held to a higher status, a higher level of performance, a higher level of ethics, but she clearly is not willing to hold herself there. Journalism ethics, for the most part's fallen out the window, with the exception of like a few independent journalism sites, like perhaps maybe Bounding into Comics, That Park Place, places like that. But I do feel like that failing to live within those guidelines creates the opportunity for malice to enter. So if you're not going to be ethical, then you can perform with malice and create some very dangerous situations for people. And to what level are you culpable for that? I don't know. That's a lot of words. I apologize. Anyway,
No, it's a good food for thought, though. I really like that last question. Let us know your thoughts.
I'm glad, and I'm glad Mercante is out. Get Mercante needs to go. That other one, Zoe, what's her name, needs to go. These people have brought nothing but activism to gaming. That's all they brought. They haven't brought journalism. They haven't brought reporting. All they brought is activism. Get Spencer in there. Let him do.
I
this.
wish.
I'm all about getting Spencer in there. In fact, I got a story from you, Spencer. I want to cover this. It might get you in there. We only have 10 minutes to cover it, so everybody needs to restrain themselves. So let's grab
with this
it.
Rambunctious panel of all of us who always speak over each other. It's never happening.
Okay, well, we're going to try. This one is important because it contains a hawk to a gun.
Oh no!
This story is amazing, and I have no faith that the following game will be good. So
I think I know what game you're talking about.
4. Borderlands 4 by Spencer Baculi says, director suggests a Gearbox sequel will cut back on toilet humor and wacky writing. Says the idea of a gun called Hawk 2A made him want to put my hand down the sink grinder. Well, that's called a garbage disposal, but fun.
Okay, thank you. That was so many people. Like, only one person in Bounding's replies was like, "What the hell is a sink grinder?" And I was like, I thought that would have been way more controversial because I was like, "What? Nobody calls it that." It's not even like a UK term.
As if Borderlands 3 wasn't bad enough.
Oh yeah,
right.
Borderlands 3 was I was done. I did not. I went into the first, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes of that game. I'm like, I'm out. See you.
Tiny Tina's whatever is even worse.
Oh, that one's even.
Is that the Telltale?
I thought that would be fun. I was like, D&D in Borderlands sounds absolutely legit and crazy.
But then you got Critical Role in Borderlands.
No,
it was like an FPS type thing, culture, but had like the setting framing of like a tabletop, like you were playing a tabletop game, and then you did like the combat as like an FPS. It was novel, but yeah, like Loki's saying, it gets on your nerves really fast
because of Tiny Tina and because of the themes, and it's just cringe. It would have been really cool. They could have made that really, really cool.
Yeah,
and they didn't.
Yeah, I can only say this: we have not that many minutes to get through the story. So, but
sorry,
you're fine. That's not a scold. I was just saying. This is a weird looking crew. I will just say this: everybody has some kind of weird lip piercing and some other stuff. And I mean, that's fine and all, but usually that leads to some other things. So, in providing a tease that, if it actually holds true to the final product, would undoubtedly go a long way to helping the franchise push back against its Redditier reputation. Borderlands 4 narrative director Sam Winkler has all but outright confirmed that in comparison to its predecessors, the upcoming Gearbox game will feature a drastic reduction in wacky writing. And I think that's
kind of what we loved about it.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, in the first two, yes. In the third one, you're like, what? Yeah. Anyway,
so that's what I kind of wanted to. The main thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and I'm glad you brought it up, Loki, because like I know a lot of people like the writing and humor of Borderlands 1 and 2, and I get that. I played the first one; it was fine. It kind of got the gameplay loop got boring for me, so I dropped it. But I had nothing against the writing. I think you'll notice a lot in this article that I talk about, the series has a Reddit reputation, or it has a lot of such wacky humor. And that's really what happened in 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Yeah,
it went from just like, it complimentary. I'm saying this complimentary. We went from like Joss Whedon style writing, like early Joss Whedon, to just Reddit Family Guy, where it went from like, we're going to, you should go check out that vault because, nobody ever dies in there. It's going to be fine. To like, oh man, it's so wacky if you go in the spoopadoop mart. I don't know. I'm going to like have an aneurysm trying to write like them. But I think everybody here knows what I mean. So like, on some extent, I think it is a good thing for them to scale it back just a little bit so that you're not doing things like, I mean, honestly, I kind of feel like a Hawk 2A gun would have been kind of funny. Like
Yes.
I genuinely think that one would have been kind of funny. But I know what they mean, right? Like you don't want like a very fine people rifle or something stupid like that, right? Like
Well, I think it hits the nail on the head twice with that one joke, right? Hawk 2A, Hawk 2A. That
yeah.
is two jokes in one. That's a win, right? And it's not a fart joke, as this Alvaro Iturralde
Yes.
guy on the bottom tweet says. You know, the fact that Sam Winkler, who's again co-writing this, has been working with a lot of the funniest people out there as far as contract writers, and um, if it's more dark humor, in a return to form, I think people will enjoy it. I just don't think people will enjoy Borderlands 3 kind of garbage. And they said they're feigning away or from Borderland 3's overabundance of toilet humor. So, and again, I'm kind of condensing all of this wonderful article that you put together that I'll
Oh, no
suggest
worries.
everybody out there go read. But I would like to have a good game again. I just don't anticipate it being so. And again, I'm not a big fan of this cast of characters that have been revealed so far. But again, that's an early gut reaction and not something that I can say is tangible. Spencer, anything you want to present that I didn't get into that we should probably visit on?
Yeah, so
yeah.
there are two things I want to touch on. One is writing sort of, wackiness aside, I think what we're going to be looking at with Borderlands 4, and I kind of feel a little bad for Borderlands fans, I think you're going to be looking at an overcorrection because yes, we went way too far, like Loki was saying, into LOL so random with the last two games, but judging from the trailer and sort of how dark and moody it is and not cell shaded and kind of less colorful, it makes me feel like they're going, oh, we got to show you that we're a serious game. Like we can have serious things going on. And that to me is just a little more like, I don't think that's what people want from Borderlands either.
No.
The second thing I want to mention is, what's his name? I'm already forgetting the director's name, the co-director's name.
Sam Winkler.
Winkler, thank you. Winkler also, if you guys are, if our audience out there is going, why do I know that name? You might remember him from earlier this year when during the height of the SBI discourse, he came out and he was basically the one who said, oh, everybody who's railing against SBI is just like a jealous dork who's never created anything in their life. So I just wanted to highlight that. Keep that in mind. And for Borderlands 4 or like Borderlands fans, good luck. I'll admit the mask, the like mind control mask looked kind of cool.
It does look cool.
It was just the visual. Like that visual was just pretty cool. What were you saying, Loki? Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say they already lost my money with Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So you want to go on an adventure with Uncle Roman from Grand Theft Auto 4? I can tell you a story about 3 adventures on that game place. They've lost me. I'm done. I love the first 2 games. I absolutely love the first 2 games. I thought they kind of went off with the pre-sequel, but then 3 happened, and then Tiny Tina's Wonderland happened, and it's just
I'll give pre-sequel the like it gets a little bit of a pass for me because it was a Telltale game as opposed to like a mainline game, and I think that
no the pre-sequul.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. Yeah. I know what you're talking. Yeah, no, pre-sequel was like that shooter. I forget what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the Telltale game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to grab this last super chat that we got, and we are going to have to round it up. I will say this. I like Borderlands 1 and 2. 3, I was out on before halfway. And a lot of the Telltale stuff I just bailed on. So I never cared about Tiny Tina's, weird adventure time thing.
Lucky you.
And Borderlands lost me. I don't think they're going to pull me back unless this game is extraordinary and somebody can convince me.
Well, they can reignite your fandom if you just go to Peacock right now and watch Borderlands 2024, starring Kevin Hart.
Nope. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. He's tricking you. He's leading you down the primrose path, Culture. Don't do it.
I was going to say, have you seen it, Spencer?
I have.
Oh. And how terrible was it?
It's so bad. Like, I know my camera's off right now, but I'm just like, crap. It's so bad. Like
It's
culture,
very bad.
I can't believe you haven't watched it because I want you to watch it because it's not even
I-
like woke
I
bad.
did-
It's just so bad that I want to see your face.
I did end up watching it. I did not pay for it, but I
Oh
did end up
God.
watching it. It is terrible.
Imagine
It makes me realize that maybe the third one wasn't so bad.
imagine a company going, hey, we're going to do a movie in this universe with these characters, but it'll have nothing to do with this universe or this characters. We want to do our own thing. And you're like,
Yeah. And
then
and
why use Borderlands?
Well, no, then
and-
one of the execs stands up and is like, "Is this the Borderlands meeting or the Halo meeting? I don't know where I'm supposed to be today."
Yeah, oh,
Yes, yes.
and we can we hire everybody's grandmas to play these characters
I was
too,
gonna,
please?
dude. That's what I was gonna bring up too.
Dude.
I want to be there like that first day when they went up to oh gosh, what was it? Eli Roth, and like, Eli, would you like to do this Borderlands thing? And he went, yeah, You know what? Yeah, I'll take this on. Let's do this. Great. Who do you think you want to cast for Lilith, the like 22-year-old, femme fatale, like hot lady? Jamie Lee Curtis. Let's get on or Kate Blanchett, whoever it was. Heck yeah, let's do it.
Man, I'm like going, y'all know there's like Sydney Sweeney out there, or like I could like point at like 100 other better choices.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They get canceled if they have a hot female lead.
No, I just think Eli Roth has a thing for grannies.
Yeah, that's true, because that movie sat on a shelf for a year.
So awesome.
And then they reshot the whole film almost entirely with a different director. And he didn't want credit for it. Nobody wanted credit for that movie. It was that bad. Anyway, we've got to go. We've got 3 minutes left.
Yeah, we
gentlemen,
go forever.
I would like to say thank you to Jacob Foxfire for the last $5 and quarters that we got. He says Borderlands was carried by Handsome Jack. Yes. And I think that was all improv, which makes it worse for them. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sam Winkler. You're not bringing people back, bro. You're not.
You're not.
I, on that note, Spencer, I need your 30-second elevator.
30-second elevator. Well, guys, if you liked hanging out with us today, hit the like button, hit the follow, hit the bell. Follow me over on boundingintocomics.com. Follow me on my YouTube channel, Kabuto Studios, and check out everything else that these handsome gentlemen have going on for you.
Right, and he does foil things that he always forgets about.
And if you want to talk about comic books, foil variant on YouTube, right there in the name. Me and Andrew of the Rippaverse. Good times. Come hang out with us.
There you go. All right, and Loki, your 30-second elevator, my friend.
Oh, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Loki's Warnings of Mischief. Come check me out there. Sometimes I'm hanging out with this guy over here. Sometimes I'm hanging out with that crazy puppet Snowdub. I'll be over later today on Talk Hard with Pops, talking about Violent Night, the movie from last year. So
Violent Night, low key night. Anyway, all right. On that note, and very low key, do follow me not only on That Game Plays, but over on Culture Casino channel. You don't want to miss anything. And boy, I have videos coming out of my ears. I get live streams coming out of my ears. You're going to see me no less than 13 times a week on the channel trying to deliver information in some form or fashion. I will be at TP USA this coming weekend. I tried to get Spencer in on that deal, but he didn't answer his phone.
Is that why? I was asleep.
It's fine. It's fine. But I will be pressed, so I will be interviewing people like Danica Patrick and others. So it's going to be a good time. I'm going to be hanging out with Drew over there and a lot of other great human beings. Very excited. And do follow me, follow this, follow That Gameplays, and follow us right from here on a redirect over to the HCast, your favorite afternoon, evening podcast with Mr. H. I'm very excited to say that that is going to be a lot of fun today.
Are you going to be on that, Culture?
You know what? I just might.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And we're going to be talking about one or two of the same things, but also some of the not the same things. There's a couple of stories out there that we didn't get a chance to talk about that'll be talked about over there, including the heretic story, the heretic prophet we did not get to. I'm looking forward to you following us over there. And anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap this up?
Go follow Marvin the Movie Monster. Go follow Nolan Thunder. Go follow J. Jonas Campbell over at That Park Place. And I think I've got everybody.
You absolutely
Space
do.
Dave. Space
Space
Dave.
Dave,
Space
wherever he is out of the
Dave,
ether.
2000.
Follow him on
Yep.
YouTube.
And it's been a while since I've seen Space Dave. I hope
I
he's
know,
doing good. I
Dave.
hope he's
I think I saw him
doing.
floating over the equator the other day.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
He's
that
trying
little
to get a free
flashy thing.
Tesla by taking it out of space.
I think he's trying to catch my attention with a little refraction. Anyway, everybody, have a great day. And as we always say, get your game on. Or at least I say that.
Do 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 do
Oh.
do 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 do
I just want to
do
be
do do.
See, every time I